to have you with us on the 9 p.m. edition of the Urban Debate. We move on to the biggest talking points when it comes to a battle against COVID. One thing that is haunting India right now is the shortage of oxygen. One thing that should ideally be uniting all of us and all our governments and our political parties and institutions is to ensure smooth, sufficient supply of oxygen to save lives, to save the COVID patients who are gasping for breath right now. Unfortunately, what we're looking at is a situation that's just becoming worse and worse. I actually want to tell you some of the SOS messages that we've been getting through today, even yesterday. St. Stephen's Hospital said, Haryana government not allowing vendor to supply oxygen to us. Can you imagine a hospital saying we are not being allowed to bring oxygen to save lives? Holy Family Hospital in Delhi says, Haryana has blocked tankers carrying oxygen. Sir Gangaram City Hospital said, need centers intervention, hospitals affected. Fortis Hospital in Haryana and Gurugram said, only 45 minutes of oxygen left, help us to save lives. We've had citizens, those running hospitals, activists, journalists talking about how they're struggling for oxygen, how the hospitals that they are present in, they're running out of oxygen. Mayo Hospital said after repeated requests from state and center, we still not got enough oxygen. This is a hospital in Lucknow. We had another hospital from Delhi where the CEO came out and said hardly left with any oxygen. We are now asking doctors to discharge the patients. It's come to the point where not only are they not able to take on more patients, they are having to discharge patients who need urgent oxygen to stay alive because hospitals have none. I cannot even begin to imagine to be in that condition and to continue working and continue to figuring out solutions to this. Let me say good evening to those who are joining us. Dr. Kausar Shah, Group CEO of Akash Healthcare. Dr. Yatin Mehta, Chairman for Medanta Institute of Critical Care. Dr. Bishnu Panigrahi, Group Head for Medical Strategy and Operations. And Dr. Shrikant Sasabudde, Director and HOD for Pulmonology and Critical Care in Medicover Hospitals, joining us this evening. Let me start off with Dr. Yatin Mehta actually. Dr. Mehta, what has been the experience for your hospital and critical care departments? How are you all managing on a day-to-day basis?
See, actually it's day-to-day, Tanvi, day-to-day living. Because day before, actually, we had to cancel all operation theatre lists because we were not sure how much the supply was going to come. Although we are surviving, but it's full of tension because we do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. And it is scary because we have at the moment about 300 plus COVID patients in a hospital at Medanta. And it's going to be a disaster if the supply is not adequate to meet the demands. And the demand has gone up tremendously. These are oxygen guzzlers, these patients. They consume a lot of oxygen and they're completely dependent, as one of the main priority for their survival is the supply of oxygen. So this is going to be a very, very serious situation, and this has to be tackled at a national level. I think Pandemic Act should be utilized and the government should ensure that the free supply, we should not be a disunited state of India. We should be work together and there should be no boundaries for oxygen supply, because this is going to be the biggest man-made disaster if we're not able to solve the issues.
You're absolutely right, and which is why we decided to have this conversation just with all of you to begin with and not involve politicians, because we don't want it to become that kind of a blame game, but we need to bring out the reality and we need to understand how the hospitals are actually handling it. Dr. Bishnu Panigrahi, good evening to you. Can you help us also understand what is the system currently for hospitals? Do you yourself figure out where to get the oxygen? Are you in touch with the state authorities, or is there a central system that allots oxygen and tells you when you will get your next lot? When you start to run out of oxygen, who do you turn to in terms of authorities?
Good evening, Tanvi. We have a direct purchase agreements with in this case is Inox. They have their manufacturing facilities. So we give our requirements, and it comes. So based on our consumption, we know how much we'll be using, and based on that, we go for it. And as my learned colleague he mentioned about the day-to-day, it's like a hand-to-mouth survival for us. And I shudder. I'm a medical administration now, but I have my specialty is anesthesia and critical care. And oxygen is medicine now. In fact, we have, if you don't have oxygen, I shudder to think of what will happen with the patients in the, forget about the OTs. OTs are different parties, the ICUs, and we have to take care of this. And the high flow nasal which are using, they're actually oxygen guzzlers. And data has shown that this modality has benefited a lot of patients. So now what do? Are we going to curtail that? We don't know. And in fact, you mentioned about the Gurugram Fortis. We were actually practically at our knees, and thank the local administration, the state government, and the PMO's intervention. A tanker just reached about an hour or two back, the liquid oxygen, and it is being unloaded now. So I think so. We must get out of this state boundaries. We are all Indians. And please, for heaven's sake, let us look at this as a combined fight for it. And as we talk today, in fact, we would have heard about Mr. Naveen Patnaik, far away from Orissa. He is supplying oxygen to a lot of places, a lot of states. And is one of the poorest states in the country, if you can look at it. So let us be magnanimous about that. I think so. That's something very important to look at it. And we keep going off on a tangent about looking at this historic drugs about remdesivir and tocilizumab. But the basic things that are oxygen and steroids, which are the most important drugs that, if you can call it, which are effective against COVID.
You're absolutely right. In some of the states like Odisha have taken the lead there to say, okay, we have the oxygen, we are willing to help, we will transport it to whichever places you want. Let's do this together. There are other states who have excess oxygen but are completely mum about it and trying to hold on to it. But this is what you said. I want to just clarify and elaborate on that a little bit more. So let me also ask the same question to Dr. Sahasrabuddhe as well. Is that the system that is largely still being followed? Are individual hospitals still figuring out their own oxygen supply or dependent on the contracts that they would have signed? Then what happens to the states who are bringing in oxygen? Is that a second layer of distribution of oxygen? And what happens to the oxygen that the center seems to be allocating to states? Is there a third layer of oxygen that's coming in? Is there no one common centralized plan for this emergency?
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. I think the irony of the situation is we never thought as a medical practitioners that, we would be having the crunch of the basic gas to save life, that is oxygen. And I think I would like to caption it as oxygen on ventilator now. And actually, the thing is that the question which was asked to me is about how do we cope up with the, oxygen scarcity at the local level. I think, hello? Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah. So I think it is, let me just put it this way, that rather than, we depending on the oxygen, oxygen supply from the state or the center, let me just enumerate few measures which we as a doctors, should take up and make sure that we kind of conserve the oxygen which is with us. So as a medical practitioners, we have actually come down with the targets. We have like what we do is the measure of oxygen which we measure, which is come down to about targets of 88 to 90. We actually try and use different modalities from the conventional ones which will save on the oxygen. We make sure that there are no leakages. We have to detect the leakages in the pipeline and repair them because it is a huge 25% wastage, which has been shown that there is about 25% wastage. And of course, we need to actually make sure that we need to train our staff at our own level to make sure that there is no, to save the oxygen as much as possible. What I want to stress upon this is, yes, there is the national level problem, and none other than Delhi, which is our national capital, is fighting for oxygen. I'm sure there are some trains which are being, deployed to supply the oxygen to various parts of country. But I think the local administration also would be in a position to help us to get this menace of oxygen scarcity to come out of this. And if I may say so, that we need to actually look on to something like PSA, that is the pressure swing adsorption technology, and make sure that we generate the oxygen at our level, which will not happen, on a fast track basis. But these are few measures which we can curb the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Shah, thank you so much for joining us this evening. How are you managing, even as we speak, I'm seeing more SOS messages coming from hospitals in Delhi. Lifeline Hospital in Lakshmi Nagar has just also put out an appeal, a doctor from there saying they have oxygen left just for about 45 minutes to 60 minutes. So much is being said about using oxygen judiciously, using technologies and various settings to ensure that you don't use too much of it. But have we gone way beyond that? Will those steps even help anymore?
So first of all, I must say that it's a very sad state to see that today at a national level, we are talking about something as basic as an oxygen in healthcare, where every patient that comes to a hospital is an understanding that oxygen is the bare minimum thing that will be available for any patient that comes to a hospital, and if the patient needs it. So that itself states about how sad the scenario is as of today. And I believe a lot has been said about this for the last 10 to 15 days when everybody was crying upon about this particular crisis coming over. If only the central had taken the control, because what is happening, many of the states have become scared. We cannot even blame them as well, because they believe if the COVID situation worsens in their own regions, and if they will not have enough supply for their own patients, their own citizens, how will they manage? So that particular thing could have been taken care of if the center had come into play right from the very beginning when this crisis started to happen. Now, the other scenario is, it's not COVID which is killing us right now. It's this scenario which is more scary, and we don't even know how many patients in what interior parts of the country or what small part of the hospitals may be collapsing because of this particular shortage, which they are supposed to get as a basic right. So what we saw today, what we have been seeing, is like a very scary scenario. And I would say it's like seeing a doomsday. And as a doctor, as a manager, as a healthcare administrator, there cannot be a sad scenario than this when you see a patient who requires oxygen, and when you are thinking, do we have sufficient oxygen to take care of this patient or not? What do we do with this? And I think that is where the centralized control could have been much better. And I think now this is coming over, and I think the central is going to take control. And we hope that the scenario from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and maybe next couple of days may improve for all of us.
Yes, because I'm just trying to understand, Dr. Shah, just how bad would it get for you to try and get oxygen that you have to knock at the doorstep of the High Court? For me, it's a clear sign that the authorities are not responding to you. Whatever setup you had to get more oxygen is blocked in some other state. That state is not perhaps allowing the truck to travel. Would that be a fair judgment? Is that why we saw, these hospitals go to Delhi High Court last evening? Because you ran out of other options.
Absolutely. So I think that's what I'm saying, that centralized control, had that been there from the very beginning, this scenario won't have arrived, that we had to knock the doors of a high court or a Supreme Court, or maybe reach out to the authorities in central or state authorities ourselves, or maybe go to social media, or maybe go to media, that please help us, our patients are just at the edge. So this scenario could have been avoided if only there had been a better management from the very beginning of this continuous crisis which we are facing right now.
We are often told, Yatin Mehta, that it's not as if we don't have enough oxygen in our country, that there is a shortage of oxygen. It's just that we're not able to get it to the right places. Now, of course, since there isn't too much of centralized, database of information, but in your experience, would that be a correct analysis that yes, there may be just a lot of oxygen lying in the eastern part of India, whereas all the needs are currently in northern and western parts, and we are just not able to move fast enough to get it?
One, there is insecurity regarding the future supply of oxygen. Each state has this thing that their responsibility is primarily towards their own citizens. And B, there is a politics involved in this. So I think central government should take over all the supplies and all the requirements of oxygen. They should ensure green corridors so there is absolutely smooth movement, like what we do for organ transplantation, when the organ moves absolutely non-stop. That's what should be done. So India should behave like one country and not like broken into kingdoms where each state has to protect its own interest. We all are Indians. Every life is precious. And I think it is not fair that at this stage, when all the medical fraternity has gone through so much of tension in the last 1 year, we subject on top of them the shortage of oxygen, which is absolutely necessary. God has given enough oxygen in air for normal people, and we are supposed to provide them oxygen when they're sick in the hospitals. So I think this should be taken over by a central command, which should be a fair distribution and completely fair movement. And you're right, Tanvi, India is producing enough oxygen. So if the transit is taken care of and fair distribution is taken care of, I think we should be able to tide over this crisis.
Dr. Panigrahi, would you like to add to this? And what I wanted to understand was, obviously the first wave of COVID was nowhere close to what we are seeing right now, the kind of numbers we are seeing right now. But post that, has there not been enough conversation with the state governments and even the center authorities in general of how do we step up on our oxygen availability? I mean, we are now hearing about PSA plants being set up in hospitals to make them self-sufficient. But what happened in the last 1 year, or did these conversations go nowhere?
Tanvi, it's a nice question. I'll put it this way. If you look at the 1918 Spanish flu, the first wave did not kill so many. The second wave did. Last year in Europe and the USA, it was the second wave which was the killer. So we I think so were not prepared or to accept that the second wave is coming and to take the appropriate measures for that. The other thing which I'd like to say is that more people will die from non-COVID illness if we don't take care of them. And as the COVID thing settled down, a lot of the non-COVID surgeries, procedures started taking place. And all the hospitals have a significant amount, obviously over the last 1 week or so, that those numbers have come down, as Dr. Yatin rightly mentioned. Most of the hospitals have stopped doing elective cases. But we are losing, the elephant in the room is all the non-COVID patients who are waiting to get care. So if you look at Delhi NCR is like the medical capital of North India, like Chennai and Bangalore and Mumbai in the west. So we have to take care of that. While the pandemic needs to be tackled, I think so we are becoming, it's more of a panic sort of exercise that has happened. People are scared. And I think so a lot of politics has come into it. So I think so let's get out of this parochial political thing and look at as one nation. Health and education is something that is a part of any good civil society. And these are basic things. And I would like to say that I think so the electronic media has pitched it very well. The print media has done it. And this has to become an electoral agenda. The people, until the publics who vote, if they don't hold us accountable as far as health and education is concerned, I think so this will get a repeat of this in the future also.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Dr. Panigrahi, we've repeatedly said how these need to be the real election agendas. We've repeatedly reminded people as well that you as voters, the next time when your netas come to you, remember this crisis that you go through. Remember who actually did some work for you, who didn't, who was more interested in photo opportunities and standing next to oxygen trucks and clicking pictures rather than rushing those oxygen trucks to you for saving lives. Unfortunately, in our country, because like you rightly said, these are not election issues, they never get the priority until matters come to where they have today, and that becomes a big problem. Quickly, very quickly, one more comment from Dr. Shrikant as well on this. Dr. Shrikant, would you agree that we did not take this seriously? Even after the first wave, we saw the second wave in other parts of the world. We just perhaps didn't think it's going to hit us, and we would need more oxygen, more ventilators, and more ICU beds.
Yeah, I think I would partially agree to this, because virus, it is said that virus gives you time. Virus always gives you time and to prepare. So, and as we know, prevention is always better than cure. As we know that in the first wave, there is a difference between the first and the second wave. And in fact, as a clinician, we are seeing the patients who are dependent on oxygen for a long time. It could be, about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even beyond that. So a good preparation would have been obviously, a blessing at this point in time, where just we were talking about oxygen, nothing else, not even ventilators for that matter. If you give oxygen at a correct time, for a correct patient, in a correct dose, because oxygen is a drug. And someone said that the God has given ample of oxygen. Our respected panelist, Dr. Yatin Mehta, said about this. I think I fully agree with this. And as I said, we never imagined as a medical practitioners in my life that I would come across a situation where we are talking about scarcity of none other than oxygen. So I think a whole nation and states and our the governments got ample time to think over this and had opportunity to kind of prepare themselves for these kind of calamities. I thought a better preparation would have given a little more better picture at this point in time.
Okay, fair point that you've made, and I like how you said the virus gives you time, and maybe we should have taken the time to prepare ourselves better. Completely out of time. Thank you to all four of you. Thank you so much for all the work and the service that you're all doing and your hospitals are doing. And I hope you're able to get all the oxygen that you need to save more and more lives. And our governments, our states, get together and get their act together. The bare minimum basic that they have to do, I hope they're able to do that to ensure there is a smooth supply of oxygen to the hospitals. The governments don't really need to do more than that. If the hard job is that for our doctors, the hard job is that of our nurses and all the other medical care staff which is there in these hospitals 24/7. Theirs is the tough job. We only have to ensure that we enable an environment, that we give them what is required to save as many lives as possible. And somehow our governments seem to have made a big mess of that as well. Before I move on to our political representatives and continue with our conversation on these oxygen political wars as they have started, I want to play out one comment. This truly brings out the stress, the anxiety that our medical fraternity is going today for the failure of our government, simply because our governments have failed. Listen into S.K. Sagar, CEO of the Shanti Mukund Hospital, and the appeal that he put out.
Maybe we were expecting, because now what we have done is, okay, whatever volume of oxygen we are giving, we have tried to little tweak it so that it can last more. Hardly, if at all something is there, it may be 2 hours or something.
So, how many patients you have? How many?
110 patients on oxygen.
How many people are on ventilators and ICU?
There are about 12 patients which are on ventilator and BiPAP. There are 85 patients which are more than 5 liters per minute oxygen supplies. There are other people. They are also there. There are cancer patients. There are cardiac patients. And ultimately, it will be very deplorable condition, very unfortunate condition. We probably, we as a doctor, we as a hospital, we are supposed to give life. If we cannot give them oxygen even, what is the situation? When patient comes to, patient will die. Patient will die.
So sir, any help you have got from Delhi?
We know they are trying to help, but there's no oxygen, sir. There's no oxygen. We know this. We know, everybody knows it. Even government is trying to help us. But ultimately, oxygen is to be generated and supplied.
So sir, is there any solution you have figured out, or there is nothing so far?
No, I think as our Honorable Prime Minister said, other people also saying, in the court has ordered कि जो इंडस्ट्रियल ऑक्सीजन है उनको डाइवर्ट करें, उनको भेजें यहाँ पे, एंड इट शुड बी डन. इट कैन नॉट बी मूव लाइक ए फाइल. इट हैड टू कम लाइक ऑक्सीजन, द स्पीड ऑफ द एयर. What would I do with the oxygen if it is not given in time?
He breaks down. He breaks down while talking about the situation and what he sees will be coming next if we don't get oxygen on time. He, as a doctor, is surrounded by pain and suffering and death all around right now. And it still breaks him like this to talk about what may happen next, of how worse it could get. This is the reality. These are the people that we need to support. But unfortunately, those who are supposed to do that are busy fighting. Uttar Pradesh won't allow oxygen to go to Delhi. Haryana blames Delhi, says they are looting our oxygen. Delhi turns around and says Haryana is blocking our oxygen. Haryana turns around and says Rajasthan is not allowing our oxygen to come. Our hospitals are running out of oxygen. State after state is pointing fingers at each other. Madhya Pradesh says our neighboring states have all the oxygen, but they're blocking it. They're not allowing the trucks to come. Please free the trucks. This is what is going on. A part of the reason why the massive crisis of oxygen happened in the national capital is because the neighboring states wanted to hold on to all the oxygen stocks. They're not their private oxygen stocks. It's not as if the government is manufacturing them. Being manufactured by other companies, industries, and private entities who have agreements and contracts with hospitals across the country. Because this is how we do business. Across the country, across state borders. But now, in times of crisis, in times of governance failure, the states have decided to shut borders and not let this oxygen go to places where it is required. And the center doesn't seem to be stepping in and taking charge of this situation. What is going on? What's the solution? I say good evening to the panelists who are joining me for the second round of conversation. You heard the reality from the doctors. Now let's hear it from the politicians. Clyde Crasto, spokesperson for the NCP, Sudesh Sharma, spokesperson for the BJP, Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress Party, and Reena Gupta of the Aam Aadmi Party. And Reena, I want to start off with you. This struggle that's happening in the Delhi hospitals, every 6 hours, every 10 hours, there are a few more hospitals that get up. I mean, why are we not able to resolve their problem? They had to go to the High Court because we couldn't solve their problem.
Tanvi, I really today do not want to get into any blame game, and I really hope that we can all work together and overcome this crisis. The center, the state, everybody, the private sector, the civil society, we all need to come together and really, as a country, face this pandemic. Otherwise, it's going to be. I mean, it's already out of hand. Having said that, one has to understand the whole issue of oxygen. Oxygen in India is a regulated commodity, and the central government basically decides quotas for each state, and it decides from where these quotas will be fulfilled. So, for example, Delhi had an existing quota of 378 metric tons, and our quota was mainly being filled by this plant in Haryana and in Uttar Pradesh. So, even though we've applied for an increased quota, which we are yet to get, yesterday we got only 177 metric tons. So we did not even get the full amount of our existing quota because, as you said, the state governments were not letting the oxygen trucks leave the state. So how will they come to Delhi? Now, in a situation like this, we really need the central government to step up and take ownership. I mean, how else is it going to happen? You cannot allow states to get into a tussle with each other. Who can resolve this? Only the central government can resolve this, and that is the reason why we have a federal structure, so that the central government ensures that every state's needs are being taken care of. And I'm really sorry to say that we are not seeing that leadership, and as a result of this, it is not me, a spokesperson of a political party, saying this. The promoters of leading hospitals, private hospitals of Delhi today, have come out publicly and said, have requested, have pleaded that please give us our share of oxygen. So if Haryana and UP are not letting the trucks leave, then the central government has to step in, get the paramilitary forces, or do whatever needs to be done, set up a high level committee that takes all decisions as far as oxygen, as far as remdesivir, vaccine supply, whatever is concerned. But these are responsibilities of the central government. Overnight, Delhi government cannot set up an oxygen manufacturing plant and say, okay, we will take care of our needs. Maybe in future that is what we would need to do. But in a situation like this, in a pandemic like this, where hospitals in Delhi are crying that they have oxygen left for a couple of hours, that their request needs to be fulfilled at a really good speed, like the doctor was saying, at the speed of oxygen. Not you are saying that
Okay.
file is being moved, orders are being passed. We need to see action on the ground. We cannot keep waiting for some central government orders to be passed and somebody else to move the files. It needs to be done now, like as we speak.
So is this a good, fair enough, okay, and I spoke to the hospitals because I wanted to understand from them as well of what the system is. They seem to be, for the larger part, figuring out their own set of supply. Then, of course, what the states gets from the central allocation. I mean, it's all a very big mess, Sudesh Verma. We should have, several weeks ago when this problem first began, gotten together, made an entire central mapped system to say where is the oxygen, where is the need, and how do we get it there. But instead, we're only seeing, states fighting with each other with absolutely no, clarity on what will happen next.
Tanvi, first of all, I would expect spokespersons to be more responsible, because your statement on television, national television, can create panic, which already leaders of Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi have created by pressing the panic button. You see, if I suffer from COVID, my oxygen level is not deteriorating. Still, I want to hold oxygen cylinder because I feel that the hospitals are not competent. And when I go to the hospitals say, bring your personal cylinders. You know that many oxygen suppliers in Delhi, they say that people have taken the cylinders, but they're not returning because they're holding. If such a situation, if you create panic, then such a situation is bound to deteriorate. I would expect that we need to be more responsible. Because what you are saying today about few hours of oxygen, that situation has been tackled already. All the hospitals have been given. That situation may have been of, say, 4 o'clock in the evening or 3 o'clock, but not today. If you have come now to defend on television or to accuse, you should come properly briefed. Oxygen has been supplied and we are very, very confident.
No, Mr. Sudesh Verma. You are highly mistaken.
Of course, Tanvi.
Mr. Sudesh Verma, you are highly mistaken. Just a few minutes ago, Mr. Sudesh Verma, I have had another hospital from Lakshmi Nagar in the national capital put out a public appeal saying our oxygen is running out in 45 minutes. Day before yesterday, the hospital sent out an SOS. The problem was resolved yesterday morning. Last night, the biggest of the hospitals went to the Delhi High Court. No, please don't make it sound like the situation is all okay. I'm sorry, it isn't. It is a panic button situation, Mr. Sudesh Verma. Only the governments don't seem to be realizing that this is a panic situation.
Come on, you
Yes,
must understand.
and where is the panic within the government to act?
If you allow me to
I am
speak,
not
then
going to
only I
give
can
false
explain
assurances to people.
your anger
Please
is
look
not
at the
going to
queues
solve.
outside any hospital. Look at the queues
They'll
outside any
understand.
hospital. Listen to any doctor, Mr. Sudesh Verma. What are you saying? Where is the situation resolved?
But that is not my purpose to be here. My purpose is to clarify the situation. Delhi's quota has been increased. Arvind Kejriwal has thanked the central
The
government for
situation
that.
is bad.
But
There is not
there
enough
is no
oxygen.
language. Apollo Hospital had a crisis. By evening, the crisis was over. GTB Hospital had a crisis, but oxygen has been supplied. So if a private hospital in Lakshmi Nagar or a government hospital doesn't get, they have to go through the process from where they get, and they will get. The quota has been increased. Now coming to state government's accusation against each other, these are all accusations. Nothing has been proved, and it should not be done because oxygen allocation quota needs to be filled, needs to be fulfilled, and the central government only monitors. It allocates. There is an empowered group that does it. It also has producers. It has the road transport ministry. It has the railway ministry. Because transportation is the major issue. You also know that production
Well then,
of oxygen.
okay, if the empowered group...
Tanvi, just allow me 30 seconds to respond.
No, 1 minute, allow me. No, one minute, please. One at a time. Sudesh Verma says there is an empowered committee, which is correct.
Can I get my chance, please?
No, metric tons make no sense to anybody, Mr. Sudesh Verma. Okay.
Tanvi, can I get
Calm
my
down,
chance?
please. You've made your point.
Tanvi, can I say some facts?
You have made your point one at a time. Now, no, can I please speak for 30 seconds? This is the reality, and I don't care who has to say what. I don't care if there is enough oxygen in this country. If it is not reaching the people who need the oxygen, then we have failed as governments collectively. I don't care if you say that there are 1,000 metric tons or 50,000 metric tons of oxygen somewhere on the road. It doesn't matter if it is somewhere on the road. It has to be with people, patients in the hospitals. Doctors are breaking down openly on social media, in interviews, in their own homes and hospitals. They are breaking down, they are crying. I don't know if you saw that. Because there isn't oxygen and they don't know what to do. They are asking patients to leave. They had to go to the High Court in the middle of the night. At 9 p.m. there was a hearing last night that went on for much later because they didn't have oxygen. So please spare me any false assurances of problem being resolved. They are literally going hand to mouth by the hour. This is not how you deal with a pandemic. By the hour. You cannot tell me the situation was resolved at 4 p.m. if 5 more hospitals stand up at 6 p.m. and have the same problem. Tell me what we are doing about it. 2 trains, 2 oxygen trains are functional, 2. They haven't even reached their desired destinations. That is the reality. Adil Singh Bopar, I wanted to make a point. Adil, now the hospitals in Haryana are saying that Rajasthan won't send the oxygen. What's going on? Rajasthan government ki oxygen nahi hai ye, Adil.
Tanvi, first and foremost, Mr. Narendra Modi is guilty of apathy, of incompetence and criminal negligence, which has led to the loss of precious Indian lives. Now, let me tell you what the high courts of this country have said. The Delhi High Court, for the first time in the history of independent India, private hospitals have approached the High Court and sought directions against the centre that please ensure our supply. The Delhi High Court in categorical terms has said that the responsibility to supply oxygen rests with the central government. Beg, borrow or steal, but ensure oxygen reaches the patient. This is the Delhi High Court. The Bombay High Court yesterday indicts the central government and says that it is unfortunate that at a time when the oxygen supply for Maharashtra should be increased, the centre has reduced their quota. This is the Bombay High Court. This is not the Congress party. The Gujarat High Court, in an order, the division bench, the then Chief Justice of the Gujarat High Court, has said that the BJP state government is fudging numbers and there is an acute shortage of not just oxygen but also antiviral drugs. There is the Allahabad High Court which has said that those at the helm are responsible for this apathy. Now, this is not the Congress party. This is the courts, the judiciary of this country. Now, please understand, what is happening is that there is a huge shortage of oxygen. And the reason for this is that the government has been caught napping. 4 lakh metric tons of oxygen was exported between January to April. This government is responsible for negligence, for incompetency, because they failed to see the second wave. The BJP National Committee was busy applauding the Prime Minister for defeating the COVID in March. There is their own resolution. I don't want to politicize it. But at some point in time, Tanvi, we as citizens seek accountability. You and I, everybody are receiving frantic calls for oxygen, for beds. But the reality is we are not able to help because there is an acute shortage. The government of India should have anticipated.
Yeah,
And
but
I
what
tend
did
to
the
agree
states
with
do
the Aam
about
Aadmi
it?
Party spokesperson
Adil, what did
today
the states do
that the
about it?
government of India should have stepped in much
Apart from Government of India, of course, is accountable and responsible. What are the states doing about it? Did you not go through the first wave as well? Was it not the state government's responsibility as well to look at the options to pump up the oxygen generation in their own states? The only thing that we seem to be doing is now putting up our borders, not allowing oxygen to go to the other states. A Fortis hospital in Gurugram, if they have a contract and they have a supplier in Rajasthan, how dare we stop the supplier from going to Fortis?
Absolutely. If the Prime Minister has an iota of propriety left, Anil Vij and Ajay Bush should be sacked. They have endangered and jeopardized lives of citizens in Delhi. I completely agree with you, but let me point out to you, it is the sovereign government which has control over production of oxygen. The Rajasthan government or the Punjab government cannot physically go and take over production of any oxygen plant. It is the central government. And that is why Justice Sanghi in yesterday's order has very succinctly said that Government of India must divert production of industrial oxygen. It must be diverted for medicine purposes, for medical purposes, for liquid oxygen. That was a very sensible direction. But unfortunately, the Government of India is napping. The Home Minister of this country should have been coordinating with UP, should have been coordinating with Haryana, but he was busy conducting 3 rallies. The Home Minister should have spoken to the Home Minister of Haryana.
Well, now, of course, the Supreme Court...
This is the problem. It is too little.
Now the Supreme Court has picked up the issue and also said that various high courts are causing confusion. And yes, 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
1 minute. 30 seconds.
One by one, please. And all of you need to promise me this, that we all give time to each other. 1 minute. Reena, I know you need to make a point. But Clyde has patiently waited. Let him also speak and make his comments first, and then I will come back to you all. Yes. Clyde Crasto. Let's talk about individual states and their role. We still don't know who is handling these affairs right now.
Tanvi, so much is being spoken about the oxygen, and like you questioned, that what are the states doing? We are surviving from what all we are doing in the state. Wherever there are oxygen plants, if they cannot be transported, we are setting up hospitals near the oxygen plant. Now, having said that, let me tell you one thing. The BJP spokesperson kept saying the responsibility is on the people, it's on the state and everything. They never own up the responsibility. Now, there are 2 points I want to make, and I've been patiently listening. Please allow me to make those 2 points. The first point is about the oxygen. Okay? Now, the states have been requesting the center for the oxygen. Now, what has happened is the courts have to now step in and direct the center to give every state oxygen. Now, when it comes to Maharashtra, let me tell you something. The Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court has directed the center to give the oxygen. And I'll read out. I have to read out this because everybody should know this. What the directive is that in this situation of emergency where 40% of the patients are from Maharashtra, respondent number 3. Now, that is CDSCO. Now, the CDSCO means it's a Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Okay? Now, should have increased the supply of oxygen to 200 to 300 metric tons. Unfortunately, things have gone in a reverse manner. Considering the dire need for oxygen, we restore the 110 metric ton supply of oxygen from the Belay plant to Maharashtra. Why did they say that? Because when there was a supply of 110 metric tons to Maharashtra, they reduced it to 60 metric tons. And then they go on to say, we direct that notwithstanding the communication dated 18/4/2021 issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, PRAX AIR Bhilai shall continue to supply 110 metric tons of liquid oxygen to the state of Maharashtra until further orders. The court has to step in because the central government has stopped this. Point number 2, till yesterday, now according to the caseload of Maharashtra requires 50,000 vials of remdesivir. We've been getting calls every day. I'm sure you also have been getting calls for remdesivir. Maharashtra needs 50,000 vials of remdesivir. Till yesterday, we were being provided 36,000 vials of remdesivir. Now, yesterday, the new allocation order that has come out will only supply Maharashtra 26,000 vials of remdesivir. That means it's come down by almost 50%. Why is this happening? Whether it's oxygen, whether it's medicines, remdesivir, or any other medicine, medical equipment, whether it's vaccine, why this disparity towards states that do not have the BJP government? Everywhere across the country, pan-India, everywhere where there is no BJP government, The state
Okay.
governments are complaining.
No, so we'll
They have
have
to
a
rely on
conversation
their
about
own.
remdesivir
So why
another day for sure. Clyde, let's keep remdesivir for another day for sure. Vaccines, remdesivir, all as critical as that. But right now we are gasping for breath. We don't have basic oxygen. Now experts keep telling me, those who are on the central government's committees, those who are talking to the central government every day, that there is enough oxygen. We just have to get it to the right places. But we are moving so slowly in a typical Sarkari Babu manner. We are spending half our time in blaming other people, lecturing other people on how to judicially use oxygen, not waste oxygen, how others are blocking oxygen,
Absolutely.
rather than focusing and putting all our energies into collectively finding a solution. Now, Reena Gupta, I come back to you, and now I don't want to get into the blame game. I am asking one simple question to every political party here tonight. Why are we together not calling for a center and states conversation on oxygen? Do it in a centralized, transparent manner so that individual states are not fighting with each other.
Tanvi, I absolutely agree with you. You know, a common citizen of Delhi whose whose relative is dying of oxygen in it as on day does not care who is responsible. That is the last thing that they want to hear, that the center and the state are fighting with each other on who's responsible. So through your channel, actually, I want to reach out to the central government and say, please be the big brother. Please take leadership. We will all abide with what you decide. But can we please get you to take ownership and take leadership moving forward? I don't even want to go back into who did what, but as of today, let's move forward. Let's work on oxygen. And I can assure you, Tanvi, the same thing will happen with vaccination tomorrow, because that again is not being thought out properly. And we'll again be having these TV programs on the lack of vaccination. So let's forget all of that. Let's recognize this is a pandemic which nobody has experienced. Let's put everything aside and work together.
Can I respond, Tanvi?
Yes. Mr. Sudesh Verma,
If you
should
don't-
it not be on a
if you don't
central
know-
level now? Can we really leave it to states to beg, borrow and steal?
Yeah, please. Yeah. See, if you don't know how to organize things, you will create crisis. You know how to create chaos. You have no solutions. You will start crying. You will do
So
the
are you trying
ranting
to say that
because
the
you want to blame.
state, the central
Clyde, I
government
did not
does
intervene.
not
No.
know how to
I did not
organize this?
intervene. No. I did
No,
not
no,
intervene,
sir, my
Mr. Castro.
question to
Please,
you.
please listen
Okay,
to me.
my humble
Listen to me,
request to
otherwise
you
I
is
can
one
also,
question.
I can also not allow you to
Sudesh bhai,
speak.
one question.
Let me speak. It's
Okay,
my
humbly
turn. No.
request you to.
Can I
Humbly
speak on
request
my
to ask you
turn?
one question.
I know what you have to say. Don't do humbly. Center will do what it has to do. It does not discriminate.
Why are you
It does
getting
not
upset? Because
discriminate.
I'm
I'm
speaking the truth.
surprised. I'm
You are getting
surprised.
upset because I'm
Mr.
speaking the truth.
Castro,
You just spoke
Tanvi,
the
I'm
truth. If you
surprised.
cannot handle the
that the
crisis, that's what you're trying to say.
spokesperson Obama
Okay,
said
okay,
the
Clyde, let him
government
finish,
cannot
please.
handle the crisis.
the
Clyde, you've
language
asked your
of
question.
people.
Let him
You
finish,
cannot
please.
handle
Let him
the
finish.
crisis.
Sudesh Verma,
of
please.
Delhi has complimented the central government for cooperating, but the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, being so irresponsible, is still lamenting those things that have already been resolved. It should not be the issue. Don't try to do politics over here. Your mismanagement, the state governments were given complete freedom. When you press the panic button, the center intervened and tried to rectify those mistakes. But you people could not manage yourself. You did not create extra beds. Why did not happen in the first surge of COVID? Tell me. 700 metric ton of oxygen was needed per day. It went to 2,800
Yes,
in
Clyde.
the first surge of COVID.
Yeah.
There was no crisis.
Tanvi,
Now it has gone to
Now please let me
5,000.
speak.
We have 7,000
Okay, let him
tons
respond.
of production.
I mean,
Then
let
can I
him respond,
why?
please. Let him respond.
Have you
Yes.
tried to look into yourself where you went wrong? And you are trying to blame the central government?
Yeah, okay. Now blame the central government. I'll tell you why.
I mean, really,
You just-
Sudesh ji,
Why?
the country is watching you.
Where did
The
central
country is
government discriminate
watching
against-
you. Come
Where
on
did the
national
BJP
TV and give
where
these
did the BJP
excuses.
say the favor of Maharashtra?
Everybody
Tell
is
me.
watching you.
Most efficient
Why don't you
minister
come out with some solution on how
Okay, one at a
people
time,
are-
please. One at a time, please. Let's not do this.
Tanvi.
1 minute, 1 minute. I am going to request all of you to take a deep breath. Let's not do this. Mr. Verma, calm down. Take a deep breath. You've made an allegation about failures of the states and them needing to take responsibility for that. Now let Clyde Castro respond to it.
No, Tanvi, Mr. Verma spoke about crisis created because they cannot be managed by the state. The The center has not been able to manage. Therefore, the crisis has been created. He's talking about the
You
state has
people
not
create
managed.
only chaos,
Can I finish
and then
now,
you look
Tanvi?
towards
If
Modi
he's
ji.
going to start talking,
The problem
you,
is that
you tell your PCR to run
if
his center
something
down.
good happens, you take
Okay?
credit.
Listen,
When things
you
get
are the
mismanaged, you
one
try
who-
to blame
who-
Modi ji.
You are the
You'll not
one
allow
One
that
minute,
to
one
happen.
minute. I do
for the
not
states
want
that
yelling
do
on
not have
this show.
BJP.
Can I just have everybody's
keep quiet.
audio down now, please?
Next.
I'm going to request my team to give me 15 seconds here. Please, I am now making a humble request to all politicians on this panel. It's a very, very serious and dire situation. Let's at least have the basic courtesy to hear each other out. Now, can I just hear Clyde? We're all, in our own homes having this conversation. Technology is not making it easier. Random yelling is over each other is not going to help at all. Clyde, and then we will go to Adil, and then Sudesh can respond. Yes.
Tanvi, I don't intend to get, uncivilized in this whole conversation. Your show is not for that. Let me tell you one thing. When a BJP spokesperson says that the crisis has been created because the states cannot manage, so the whole country is in a mess like right now. So the same rule applies to the center because they have not been able to manage the whole situation in the country. Now you keep saying the state did not manage. Now I'm going to go beyond the oxygen. You say the oxygen that you are supplying, you have not supplied oxygen. The courts are talking about it. You have not supplied remdesivir to the state. It's out there in the public domain. You are not supplying vaccines to the state. That's out in the public domain. You are the one who's creating crisis for the state. The states are trying to do their best and manage on their own what they can do. You are giving out medicines, oxygen, vaccination to the states where there is a BJP government. You are creating disparity. You are the one who's giving stepmotherly treatment to the states where there is no BJP government. Just wake up. Wake up. The world is watching you. You can say what you want. You can lie on, through your teeth in front of the people, but the people are watching. If this program is going out to lakhs of people, they know what
Okay.
It's out in the public domain.
Okay, Clyde, as much as you would want to believe, I don't think the states can absolve themselves of all the responsibility. It has to be a
But
collective
they
effort, and I
can
come back to
also
that
30
point because
seconds. Who says so?
that is
But
what
it's
we
not
need
just
to
the
move
state, it's the
towards.
center also.
May I
Where
just
about
read out
United?
to my viewers
They all have
what
to
it
work
is that
together.
the center government said today. Home Ministry, Home Ministry issued a circular to the states today that said there should be no restriction on interstate movement of oxygen. Authorities to be instructed to allow free movement of oxygen carrying vehicles into the cities. There should be no curbs on timings as far as the movement for oxygen carrying vehicles is concerned. And there is a ban on oxygen supply to industries except a few exempted, including steel, which the Delhi High Court asked about yesterday. District magistrates, SSP, DCP level officers to implement directions. Now, why was there a need to make these kind of comments, Adil? There is because the states are now blocking oxygen movement. We want to hold on to what we have in our states. We can't function like that. We have to think on a national basis.
Well, then first and foremost, as we speak, there is an SOS call from the PRO of the Ganga Ram Hospital in Delhi, which is one of the largest hospitals in Delhi. They are likely to run out of oxygen by 1 a.m. So I hope Mr. Sudesh Verma can perhaps mitigate, and the central government is watching your program. This is an SOS call. There are thousands of patients at Ganga Ram Hospital. The least the government of India can do is to ensure that adequate oxygen supply reaches by midnight. It's a matter of life and death, number one. Number two, yes, there has to be national coordination, but whom do the states coordinate with? Under the Epidemics Act, under the Disaster Management Authorities Act, the nodal or the central agency is the Home Ministry. The Home Minister is in Bengal. The Home Minister had 3 rallies scheduled in Bengal. The other day, the Maharashtra Chief Minister wanted to speak to the Prime Minister. He was told, please wait. The Prime Minister is busy with the rally in Bengal. So whom do the states talk to? The Home Minister is not available. It's all very well. It is good spiel and articulation to say that we must coordinate. Yes, we have to coordinate. But the people who are responsible, who are at the helm of the center, are not available. It's a two-man show. It is public knowledge. Harsh Vardhan is a rubber stamp. It is Narendra Modi or it is Amit Shah. And Amit Shah is not available. Narendra Modi is not available. So therefore, the buck stops with the Prime Minister. How long
I think we're going to leave it at that. We are going to leave it at that. Gangaram, Sir Gangaram Hospitals, 8 p.m. appeal. Yes, okay, respond to this.
Tanvi, first of all, to Adil's response, you see, Gangaram Hospital, who should they appeal to? They should appeal to the state government. Central government has already increased the allocation and made the supply. If you are failing, don't worry, we will be there. We will not allow the crisis to happen. Because your failure we can understand. And Mr. Castro, for your information, on 7th of January, on 21st, 25th and 27th of February, missives were sent to 7 states that COVID is surging ahead. Please take care. Allow COVID norms to be implemented. Make isolation, quarantine people. But you did not listen. Every state is not having the same fate as Maharashtra. Why? There has to be something wrong with the state government. Please look into that.
Okay. Mr. Suresh Sharma, since you've made that comment now twice, two parties have responded. I think it is only fair that I give Reena Gupta last 30 seconds to respond to this charge of the state government's failures. Reena Gupta, can I hear Reena Gupta, please?
Yeah, Tanvi, first of all, to answer about this increased of quota, on paper you can increase the quota. They increased our quota. But yesterday we did not even get the original quota. So what's the point of doing it on paper? And secondly, whenever they fail, Tanvi, they keep saying that the states are failing. Whenever they want to take credit, why do we have the Prime Minister's photo on every vaccination certificate? And then on the other hand, they will say it's a state responsibility, health is a state responsibility. You can't have it both ways. When you want credit, then the center is doing a great job.
No,
and
it's not. No, it's not. Okay, fair enough. Completely out of time. My apologies to you, Reena. I'm cutting you off as well, but I'm completely out of time. What is the quota on paper means absolutely nothing unless it reaches the hospitals. Exactly the point I was making. If people don't have oxygen in their mask while they're gasping for breath and dying, then it doesn't matter where the oxygen is. In the air, on the train, on paper, wherever it is, it doesn't matter. The need of the hour, and this is what we are calling for, is for the central government to get a handle on this situation. Sit across the table with all the states. Figure out where the oxygen is, who needs the most, and what is the fastest way of getting it there. If you need to call in the army for this and the air force for this, then do that. But please get a handle on this situation. Thank you so much for joining us.